Today we have the opportunity to interview face-to-face to the candidate of the State Secretary of California. First, I would like to start with the question. You mentioned the Bible verse.
Oh, it's Psalms 11:3.
Psalm 11:3. Can you recite it now?
Oh, when the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do?
Okay, and then you went ahead, explained to me in the original Hebrew, the foundation, what it means.
Yes, that the original Hebrew definition of the word foundations is political or moral support. And so when you read that verse and understand it with the Hebrew meaning, you know, when the political support of your country is destroyed, what were the righteous doing? Why'd they allow that to happen?
Yeah.
When the moral support of your country has been destroyed, it's because the righteous haven't been doing their job.
I totally agree, and that's why we, recently we spent a lot of time and effort reaching out to the faith community and encourage them and inspire them to come out to vote, because
Very important, very important. I mean, the faith community, only about 25% of them actually vote.
wow,
You know, so when you go to church on Sunday, and you look at your row of people,
Oh my God.
only 1 out of every 4 of those are voting.
wow. So just imagine if we could turn the other 3, the 75% out.
We don't even have to turn the other 3. All you have to do is, person on your right, person on your left, all you have to do is get one of those
Yeah.
to join you at the poll. And you can fundamentally change America and fundamentally change California.
Wow. Now, I'm glad to hear that. That means the hope is there.
Yeah, it's you know, the church is supposed to be the salt and the light.
Yes.
If we're not even showing up to the polls to vote, how are we being the salt? How are we being the light? How are we saying with our values what we would like to see?
And we will be trampled down
Yeah, well,
because it's useless. And they trample you down and throw you away. And that's why we are facing some persecution from the legal arena.
yeah, well, you've heard in Sacramento here in the last couple of weeks where they are passing a bill. They're trying to pass a bill which basically bans the sale of the Bible in the state of California.
Yeah, I studied it.
You know why that happened? It's because the church has stayed in their pew. They haven't gone to the polls and voted, voted for righteous men, voted for people who have their values, and as such, Christians are starting to be persecuted here in the state of California.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
You know, where it's like, oh, you're a Christian? Well, we don't want your belief in our state. We don't want you teaching your truth. But whereas, oh, you believe some form of immorality? Sacramento is calling evil good and good evil.
And that's a big woe
from
the prophet Isaiah.
Yes.
So now, can you elaborate more from these 2 angles, how California, throughout these years, how to witness the deterioration of both, moral and political foundation?
40 years ago, California had some of the best schools.
Yeah.
We had some of the best interstates.
Golden State.
It was the Golden State. We had a legislature that actually encouraged innovation. How do you think Silicon Valley became Silicon Valley? It's because we had legislatures who were out there encouraging freedom, encouraging liberty, encouraging innovation. What we have now is we have a state run by special interests. Where the special interest doesn't want competition coming in and taking away from their profits. And so big business likes big regulations because they can comply.
The threshold is high, and so, small and middle size business entity is so hard to get in.
It's hard for a competitor to get any kind of momentum.
I see.
And so when you have special interests that are controlling a state, special interest is going to want to make sure that their bought and paid for candidate wins office. Special interest is not interested in a politician who represents we the people. They're interested in somebody who represents their interest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem that we have in California over the last 4 years. Why do we have we have the highest gas tax,
Yeah.
but the worst roads in California?
Yes.
We have, you know, and the gas taxes just keep going up and up and up. You know, why do we have some of the poor schools? Is a state that has 40 million people in it, why do we have such problems? And the problem is because there are special interests who are basically choosing to siphon away the money that's supposed to go for the general welfare. Instead, they're diverting it to their special interests so that they can line their own pocket. And the thing is, that's why it's important for us as Christians to be the salt,
Yeah.
to be the light,
Uh-huh.
and say, you know, I'm living by a higher standard. And, you know, the world can choose to follow, or they can choose to go their own way, but we're supposed to be the light, you know, because when their world crashes around them, they know that Christians have something that the world doesn't have.
Yes.
And they're looking for that solution.
I see.
But if the church is not the salt, if the
Yeah.
church is not the light, if it
Uh-huh.
doesn't stand up
Yeah.
and say, hey, this is right, this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If the church doesn't do that, then you're going to put yourself in a position, you're going to put yourself in a position where the world goes, they don't know an answer. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, well,
Yeah.
the church is
Yeah.
doing this too, the church is doing this too.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important for the church to be the salt and the light, for them to stand up and be involved in politics. For the pastors, when Sacramento tries to ban the Bible, for all the pastors to go show up in Sacramento and say, no, that is wrong, that is evil. They need to call evil sin.
Yes.
They cannot just say, well, that's government, the government's gonna do whatever they want to do. No, we live in a republic. We are the government.
Yes,
We
we
are
are the
governed, you know, we the people choose our leaders.
Yes.
And our leaders are accountable to us. And it's important that we, the people, pay attention to what our government does, and if it's not governing righteously, then it's important for us to recall those elected officials and say, you know what, you're not representing according to my values, I'm not going to elect you.
Amen. Amen. So, in your perspective, how dangerous it is if things going at this kind of pace in California?
Well, the thing is, there's good news.
Okay.
We call it tide. I call it a tide change.
Okay.
We live close to an ocean. If you go look at the ocean over the course of the day, it comes in and it comes out. It comes in and it comes out. And we're living in a day where people are realizing that the craziness that's coming out of Sacramento does not represent their values. I'm not talking just about Christians.
Yeah.
I'm talking not just about
Regular.
conservatives.
Yeah.
I'm talking about even Democrats are starting to go, Sacramento is not representing me and my values. They seem to be representing these special interests. They seem to be representing these fringe communities, these very small percentage of people affected, and they're diverting the general welfare money. What's general welfare? Money that's supposed to go to our schools, money that's supposed to go to our rural roads, money that's supposed to go to our police, money that's supposed to go to our firefighters. They're diverting that money to all their pet projects that represent their small constituencies, and that's creating a problem, and people are waking up to that problem. Whether it's the form of the gas tax, where it's making $800 per year out of a family of four. Now, if you make, you know, $150,000 a year, what's another $800 to the state of California? But if you're making only $30,000 a year, $800 out of your budget is a lot of money. And that's what the gas tax did, and it didn't build a single mile of new roads.
No.
So, you know, that commute to work, that takes an hour, you know, the fact that you're now paying an extra $800 a year in gas taxes and fees is not going to make your commute any better.
No.
And that is, people are starting to wake up to that fact. You know, we have this whole sanctuary state debate where you got, the state came out and said, we're not going to obey federal law. We're not going to cooperate with the ICE who wants to take criminals off our streets and deport them out of this country. And they say, we're not going to cooperate, and we're going to do our own thing. And we got cities and counties that are saying, enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want criminals to have special privileges in the state of California. Criminals need to be locked up, and if criminals are in this country illegally, and they're committing violent crimes,
Mm-hmm.
we need to get them out of this country ASAP.
Yeah.
Let them serve their time and then get them out of here. They do not need to be on our streets.
Right. Yeah.